Okay, I am at my friend Tamara's house, the brave soul who decided to go for it and paint her tile. And this is the picture you saw, but I can tell you that it does not do it justice because this is just beautiful. The grout looks great. So now she has started the second one, and she went ahead and put a light coat of new surface on it, and you can see she didn't try to get it precise. It's heavier in some places than the other. New surface isn't absolutely necessary, but if you have a slick tile, I highly recommend it. Next we're going to watch her put on the base coat, and then I'll come back tomorrow and she'll show us how she dry brushed. Okay, I will say that Tamara wished that she had a long pole that she had started with, but this was the best scenario right now, and she's using a microfiber roller. And what did you?
I'm messy.
Messy. And what did you say about when you use the big roller?
It soaked up the paint. It seemed like it just seemed like I was constantly having to dip in the paint because it was soaking it up.
So the smaller roller. If you're not doing a huge area, this is she's doing sections of small.
And right now I'm trying to get in here, and that's why I'm messy. I'm very messy. There's really no technique to any of this, but that's why I try to tape it off, and then still I may have to go back and touch up some of my stuff afterwards, even after I tape it. But I try to get it in, make sure I get it in. I'm doing the grout and everything.
Okay.
And
again, the new surface has been applied to it already.
Why does this seem wet? Okay. But sometimes I have to go, because you want to get the coat on. You want it to be stuck on there good.
Yeah, so it's one coat because you're not waiting on it to dry again, but you might have to go over it.
Right.
While it's still wet.
Well, I didn't worry it. I don't worry about it so much with the new surface. It doesn't matter. And when I take the tape off, like after it's dry, and when I take the tape off, I go back with one of those little bitty, like paint by number brushes, and put a little bit of this on if I missed a spot.
Or if it comes up with the paint, with the tape.
Yeah. And see, this just doesn't, for some reason, I don't know. It's not.
It's only because we're videotaping. It's not going perfect.
Yeah, I know. And I sometimes the area that I've already, I still get it on a place I sealed, but I don't worry about that. It doesn't mess it up.
You're right. The overlapping is fine.
It's fine. I just redo it and
when she
reseal
dry
it.
brushes, she'll.
But see, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I try to make sure that it's pretty covered. And I like doing the grout and all too.
I think that looks really a lot better in person. The grout lines do, and the using the liquid super gloss. Some people thought it would be slick. It's not slick at all. I went in there and it's already part that's already finished, and it's not slick at all.
And
beautiful finish.
Even though I'm spreading out and do some, I don't get too far because this actually starts drying while I'm still painting.
Oh, it
so
is.
Yeah, I mean it will start. Like right now I'm okay, and I notice how I'm not necessarily going the same direction.
Well,
I'm telling you, I'm the least artistic. I'm the least. I mean, I can do this. Anybody can do this because I have no technique and I'm very messy too.
Well, it looks great, and your dry brushing just hides all.
It hides it all. Yeah.
Hides all direction. You know.
All you want to do with
this. That's what I say.
All you want to do with the slate is just make sure you have it covered pretty good. I mean, it does.
The stone, yeah.
Or the stone. I'm sorry. You're doing that. I don't know why.
Right.
For some reason, is slate kind of.
It kind of looks slate.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of a gray color.
Yeah, it's fine.
So, and definitely don't wear any good clothes. Be sloppy when you do this. Because.
So you can see how she's just kind of.
I just kind of make sure I get it in there on the grout, and then I'll once I know I have it covered, I'll go back over it.
And you can see that was one coat, and really, it's covered. And if you have little, voids in your,
You just kind of go back.
you go back over it, or if you miss something, then your dry brush is going to cover it.
And I have to turn my brush a certain way to get up there close,
Yeah.
to get under there. That's why I tape it.
So it's not like this is, you need to do sections at a time. don't
Yeah,
you?
it's easier if you do like today. I have so much. This is the most I've done at one time. What I was doing today, so I'm gonna probably be pretty exhausted when I get done because I don't have the long brush, or the long pole, which is what I guess if somebody, I'd recommend that. I just started it this way, so I'm just finishing it this way. But
Yeah, definitely get a long pole, but keep the brush smaller. Needs
Yes.
to be more easy to
It does-
maneuver, and it's not taking up so much paint.
exactly, and that's what I found that I was constantly having to re-dip in the paint when I had the bigger brush.
And also, when when it's drying, it dries really. I say weird. It
It'll
looks
look
real bad.
Scary. It'll look scary.
Yes, it does. It dries, and what it's doing, it's drying and sealing at the same time. And so you think that you have either gotten too much paint in one place and then the other, but just be patient because it dries beautifully.
And see, I'm about to go back up and do the other before I get much further, just because it'll start drying, and then I just don't want to mess.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't mess it up. I've went over it before when it was doing that, but I just try to not get too far.
When you are going to start this project, you better figure out where you're going to start and stop and work in that area. Don't go answer the phone.
Right, because it dries too fast. It dries so fast.
Right.
Now this is going to be the hardest part, is holding this.
It dries as in that it's starting to dry and cure, but it takes. You wait an hour, don't you, before you start dry brushing?
Well, you definitely want to wait at least an hour, and especially on a rainy day, like today,
Probably going to be 2 hours.
I just have been waiting I've been waiting more than an hour. I've been waiting an hour and a half to 2 hours just.
Honestly, it's the best. The longer you can wait to go with another coat, the best.
But
The hardest part of this is being patient.
yeah, and the dry brushing, to me, it's dry in like 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, it's very.
And usually I wait a little bit longer. Sometimes I wait an hour, even though I know it's dry, before I seal it, just because I just give everything a little bit. If you've got time to give it a little extra time, that's just what I do.
Okay, well, this is just going to be more of this for right now, and we're going to come back tomorrow. I'm going to come back tomorrow, and we're going to watch how she dry brushed. Not that it has to be exactly how she's doing it, but
And there's no technique.
There's no technique. She's just going to show you basically what she did. That's what I wanted to come over here and show you, because how friendly plaster paint is. It's just, you can just do so much with it and not, as she said, not be artistic. You just got to be brave.
Yeah.
You just got to be brave. But I, again, checked the durability of the what she's already done the last 2 days, and gosh, I am super
And you
impressed.
can tell him I have a dog, and he hasn't even walked on it.
He's already walked on it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but if you've got, you want to let it cure as long as possible, but you don't have to be scared of it. Just make sure that's super gloss, and we'll talk about that on our next segment. Thank you. Okay, as I promised, I was going to show you how to do the dry brushing on the last step of Tamara's floor. However, I didn't get it to make it to Tamara's because of a bad back issue. So I'm going to show you here at home or in my shop. So let's go back. This is very similar to what her tile looked like. Hers is even a little lighter. You can use New Surface first if you would like. New Surface allows paint to adhere to any surface: wood, metal, glass, ceramic, laminate, laminate, stainless, and porcelain. So this is a porcelain tile. It doesn't look like that's what it said it was. It's got a rough surface to it, so you would not have to use New Surface, but it's a good hardener. It's another good step for the best durability. This one is definitely ceramic. It very, very shiny surface. You would definitely want to use New Surface to make it a new surface. We want it to be something the paint can grab onto. Our plaster paint could grab onto this fine. We've done it before, New Surface, but in order for it to have the durability and not peel even after it's sealed, it really does need that extra New Surface put on it. Okay, so then our next step was that she painted everything in stone. This is our color, our one-step color stone. Again, you do not have to use one step. You can use our original line to paint. If you don't find a color that you like in the one step, you are good to go using it, our original line and finding the color you want. And then at the end, here's one way that I dry brushed, and here's another way more of how Tamara dry brushed. There is no rhyme or reason, but I'm going to try to hold my camera, my phone camera, and show you basically what you can do. Several ways to do it. First of all, if you use the thin brush, you're going to get more of the brush stroke look. I have driftwood and bark here. So I'm just, dry brushing is when you just barely put on any paint, okay? And you almost dab it off to get most of it off. And then I would just go into a motion like, instead of straight so much, I just did it kind of in a swirl, sorry. So it has some veiny look into it. Looks terrible right now, I know. So don't freak out when you're first doing it and it looks like you just had a child paint your tile for you. Again, you can see I have not hardly used any paint. Now it's kind of coming together, looking better. So that gives us more of a like veins running through it when you use this thin of a brush. It's just a chip brush. This is another brush that's actually, you can see, is quite thicker. It's more bulkier. And this is what Tamara used because she wanted the look to be more like this. So I'll show you with our bark the difference. And again, I'm just probably dipped a little too much in there. Okay, here it goes. So I'm just going to kind of swirl around. And it doesn't matter if the driftwood is dry or not. We actually don't want it to be very dry. So I've basically covered up what I did with this big brush. So we're going to continue with the big brush. So now I'm going to use the same, well, I use a clean brush because I should practice what I preach. So then I'm going to go back with driftwood, dab it off a little bit, and then start my swirls back in there again. With this one, it is still wet. Oops, that's on my original tile, no big deal. Now, is every tile going to look the same? Absolutely not, you know that. And that's okay. As long as your color scheme is the same, then you're good to go. Okay, up here I've got too much of the driftwood. I'm just going to take my bark again and build it in there. this has texture in the tile. You can see right there, that's all unlevel, you know, has texture in it, has veins in it. So it really looks good when you dry brush over that. So I've about covered up most of the gray compared to what it was. So this is just another look compared to that one and this one. Could these be butted up together? Maybe. Might want to go with a little bit more. I'm going to go with a little more of my driftwood. There's another look. Now back to my bark, because I liked it better the way it was. So I'm going to go with actually back with this thin brush to show you a little bit more of a variation you can do. So I can do a little bit more detail. I can go over those spots that I want to stick out. And then I get real messy with it. When you want more of one color to show, it's probably better to get the thinner brush and do that at the very end to get the effect you want. Just remember, whenever you start one, you need to use those same brushes. Oh gosh, sorry. And you won't have to worry about it all matching, just as long as you use basically the same technique. I didn't use any of the small brush on this one. That was just the bulky brush. I used thin brush, bulky brush, and back to put a little bit more stone back on it to make this one a little cloudier. And then this one is just with the variegated colors from here to here. Now, if most of you, if you have this color stone, you're fine with it. A lot of people have forest green, color, maroons, things from the 90s, and they could easily make it look like this. So I hope that helps. There's no rhyme or reason